Yes, I would say in general, it is going to be a factor in terms of what men care about. Now, however, it's a bit complicated. So I think if the woman is attractive enough, a lot of men, I'd say perhaps even the majority of men, are going to give them a pass. A lot of men don't have the same level of abundance and optionality that even an average woman has. So a lot of men, they don't have a lot of dating prospects and options. So in order for you to care about body count as a man, you need to have leverage. In order to have leverage, you need to have options. So if you don't have options as a man, you're going to kind of just, oh, she's good looking. She's not even good looking all the time. She's attractive enough and she's interested in me. Honestly, majority of men, that's probably going to be the standard. Now, should that be the standard? Not necessarily. But if we saw that men had more abundance, more options, more standards even, then absolutely yes. I think a lot of men, it basically comes down to the optionality component.
But are you talking about hookup or marriage?
Well, that's different too.
Because I think most of the guys,
casual sex, yes, men care less. Men will prioritize it less. For like long-term relationship,
it's their wife, they would care.
Prioritize it more, but even then, I think a lot of guys have been zeroed out of the dating marketplace. A lot of guys really aren't getting that level of attention. So like, a lot of guys are kind of desperate, and they will settle and tolerate a suboptimal situation. They still care about it, but they realize they don't have the leverage to actually exercise the optionality to be selective about it. And also there's just not enough pool of women who frankly have low body counts or who are virgins or whatever the metric is.
But in the first place, they would care. Most of them would prefer someone, especially for a wife.
Yes, but whether or not they can get the woman who has a low body count, that's another question. So I think if you were to ask most men, I think most men would say if they could get it, then yes, they would want a woman who has a lower body count.
Yeah, but they still treat virgins and young girls really bad, I think.
Okay. I have a small question. I just wanted to know, did you look up the statistics and everything, right?
On what?
I don't know. I was just asking. Because you're claiming most men prefer virgins and girls with lower body count. So I was just curious.
Well, the claim is men prefer lower body count, yes. That can entail virgin, but I think I would say most men... Would it be their preference for the girl to be a virgin? Yes, but I think most men realize...
But why is that
experienced? Well, America is a Christian country, right? And so biblically, obviously men want virgins, and I think all high value men would want a virgin or a girl with a low body count.
Go ahead, finish your...
Oh, sorry. I was going to ask, do you guys believe both parties should be virgin? Don't you believe a virgin girl deserves a virgin? I'm thinking about myself personally. If I were to be a virgin, I wouldn't want to be with someone that's not a virgin.
Look, if you're a woman who's a virgin and you only want to date a virgin, I'm completely fine with that. I don't have a double standard on it. But I would say that women tend to be, even women who are virgins are way more forgiving of male promiscuity than the reverse. There are definitely women who don't want to deal with or date a guy who's highly promiscuous or was highly promiscuous or who has a high body count. But the proportion of women who have that preference is far lower than the proportion of men who value this. And it's for a couple different reasons. There's a nurture component, but there's also a nature component. So I think for evo-psych reasons, essentially there's a biological reason for why men care about body count. There's plenty of reasons why men care about body count, but I would argue one of the big ones is it's just has to do with paternity certainty. So as a man, or let me paint it like this. Let's say a woman has 10 husbands and she's sleeping with all of them. Who's the father? Absent a DNA test, you don't know. However, if you have a man who has 10 wives and they're all loyal to him, you know who the father is and who the mother is in all instances. So in this case, I think there's an evolutionary basis for men's heavier investment in a lack of promiscuity, a lack of either past or current promiscuity in women, because it has to do with paternity uncertainty. Women, if you get pregnant, you know your paternity, or not, excuse me, not paternity, maternity in this case, is guaranteed in all instances, because if you have the kid, that's for sure your kid. It's one of the biggest L's a man can take in life to be with. It's not just the infidelity. It's he's raising a kid that he thinks is his, but is not. It's a double whammy. She cheated, and I'm investing resources and love and attention to a child that's not mine. So it's men are more evolutionary and biologically invested in this.
But what if it's not with a kid?
Huh?
What if it's not with a kid? Like, it's like
Why do women like tall men? Why do women like strong
I don't like
men?
tall men.
because
I don't like tall men
Okay.
either.
Oh my God, you women always do this.
I do.
Always do this where it's like, well, what about me? No, I'm speaking in generalities here. So, for example, is it wrong for me to say humans are born with 10 fingers? Is that incorrect for me to say? Now, are there some people who are born with another digit, another finger? Yes, but it's not incorrect as a
Right.
general principle to say humans are born with 10 fingers. You guys always want to do this thing like
This is a different topic. That's a total different topic.
what was the original question over here?
It was.
Or is yours?
No.
What if there's not kids involved?
Yeah, I'm saying like, and it's like a flex for guys to have a higher body count, and for a girl, it's like she's like a whore. You know, like it's not on the same level.
Well, I mean, that's another thing. So for a woman to be a slut, incredibly easy. Any woman could be a slut. In order to be a slut as a man, definitely not every guy can be a slut. There are men who are incels. Women cannot be involuntarily celibate. So it takes either a certain degree of status, attractiveness, looks, money, or charisma for a man to be able to get laid.
So just because it's harder
Or
for them.
get laid a lot. And yes, it's harder for men to get laid. Whereas for a woman, you can be like severely unattractive. As long as you're making yourself sexually available, you'll get takers. You go on Tinder, you put a sign around your neck saying, pussy open for business. Even if it's crass as fuck, even if it's crass and gross, if you just have a sign, DTF, you will get takers.
So why are guys so desperate?
I even think you could put like a above average looking guy doing that. No women are coming up to him DTF like
That's
that.
true.
Like they're not doing that. Maybe like, look, I could think of like, maybe there's some scenario where it could happen, but at least I would say it would be really rare, and it would definitely not be at the frequency with which if a woman was doing that, she puts a sign that says DTF, within an hour of being out, she's got like 3
But isn't it the
guys.
guy's fault because they're so desperate? Like they don't care about
Well, yeah, the guys are willing.
at fault with it then.
Well, that
Because-
doesn't change the fact that, so in terms of why there's this double standard that exists, I don't think that would change, regardless of who's to blame, so to speak. Yes, I would agree. Women tend to be more selective. I don't disagree with you there, but it doesn't change the fact that why the double standard exists. So, y'all women, it's easy for you to be a slut. It's hard for a guy to be a slut.
That's saying
True.
I don't
I
like
think
that
it's easy
slot.
for both.
Really?
No, it's
I
not the
think-
same.
Wait, let's check this out. Let me test this right now. Hold on, let me test it. How can I test this?
Don't ask
Why are you
why.
saying that like you're gonna spit some bars?
No, I like how.
how.
Did you hear what Andrew Tate says once?
God.
That women born with value. So why are you using word slut?
I don't think that's.
Yeah, Brian.
Women.
Because women are very emotional. So in order to become a slut, they have to like disconnect, I would say, more their emotions, and guys are more into physical,
But like
Correct.
I would say
nowadays,
guys
that's
are
not
also
true.
emotional though.
but not like women.
I can turn it off very easy, but
I mean, even that's why Judaism is passed down only through the mother, correct? Because going back to what Brian said, the paternity cannot be guaranteed.
Right.
That's the only that's why Judaism can only be passed down through the mother.
Correct.
Makes sense from an evolutionary and biological standpoint.
But you think that it's just like easy for guys too, or
I think it goes both ways. If
like I understand that.
If you're a guy, if you're a girl, you're gonna find a way to go and fuck people.
So
It's
I
easy as
understand.
that.
I'm not saying that men have zero access to hookup culture. I'm not saying that there aren't men who can just go to a party and just get laid. It definitely happens. I mean, in order for women to do it, there has to be a counterpart. But what I'm saying is you can take an average or even below average looking woman, put her on a dating app, and she can get, like any single girl here at this table, you could download Tinder right now. You could get laid tonight. I think you put even like a above average looking guy, maybe even a really studly dude on a dating app tonight. I don't know. It might take him a minute to get it, but I think that, ultimately, I think you have an average looking girl, below average looking girl, they can get sex super easily. Are you familiar with the phenomenon of incels?
No.
So incel stands for involuntarily celibate. So basically, despite efforts, like you're trying to get laid, you can't. This is a phenomenon only witnessed in men. Only men can be involuntarily celibate. You might be able to say, well, there's a woman who's a paraplegic and she's like the ugliest woman on earth and she lives on a deserted island. Under this circumstances, a woman could perhaps be involuntarily celibate. Although if she had an internet connection, some motherfucker showing up in a boat and down to fuck. But like, ultimately, here, I can test it out really quick. We got some single women. After the show, do you want to have sex?
No.
With me?
No.
Oh, okay.
She's a child.
Do you,
Yeah, excuse me.
she's 19. She's an adult.
Yeah, but like,
I don't-
so I feel like it really depends with the group of people you're going to for a guy. Like, as a guy,
so do you
it depends
think-
on like
Yeah.
the type of girl you're going for.
Sure.
Go for someone who's at your level.
Oh, I'm totally fine with age gap relationships, but I'm more so doing this as a rhetorical question. I don't know if I would have to. Fuck it, whatever.
I don't know if you can handle me,
I'll
bro.
ask it. After the show, my God, I disdain almost asking this, and I'll only ask it to the single women here. After the show, would you like to have sex?
Sure, let's fuck.
After the show, Bella, after the show, would you like to have sexual intercourse, carnal knowledge?
thanks.
After the show, would you like to?
No.
What about you?
No.
Okay, so look, I just propositioned 4 or 5 single women. Look, I didn't, obviously she's trolling, but hey,
She's not trolling.
the feeling's mutual.
I've heard some
by the way,
things.
the feeling's mutual on that. And just to be clear, that was not a genuine proposition. Don't be offended by
Well,
it.
just
This
to
is where
state a fact.
looksmaxing culture has come from. Are you
Yes,
familiar with this,
true.
Brian? Looksmaxing?
Yeah, I'm
Clavicular?
familiar.
I mean,
Yeah.
guys are literally going to such extreme measures to increase their attractiveness that they are
Taking
literally
meth?
taking hammers to the face and they're hitting their face enough to create these microfractures in their cheekbones and in their
deadass?
jaw so that it regrows stronger. And this is a growing phenomenon that used to be kind of small within like incel and black pill communities, but it's been recently popularized by this individual called Clavicular. And now a lot of guys are going to these very extreme measures. They're getting leg extension surgeries to be taller. They're taking hammers to the face. They're taking meth, like you
That's
mentioned.
crazy.
Wait,
Yeah, but women have been
girls-
doing plastic surgery.
Yeah, I was
for
about to say that. Girls
long
are doing.
time.
But I feel like the
basically
men are doing it on,
the same
on a
thing.
different level. Instead of just going and getting surgery, these guys are taking meth so that they're starving themselves or like smacking their jaws with hammers instead of just getting surgery.
And honestly, to a degree, I understand it because women only usually date across or higher. And to Brian's point, a lot of guys are incels. I mean, there are whole communities that are based around this
get that.
notion.
That's men do have to
Like-
have a higher value to be able
Yeah.
to take on more partners.
No, completely.
Yeah.
Like, let me ask you, so you probably go to college parties and stuff. So look, I acknowledge that there's definitely going to be hookups and people are going to be hooking up, but I think what the phenomenon you're going to see is typically the guys who are successful when it comes to, getting casual sex. And we actually see this, there's data on this from the dating apps. Basically, you have the majority of women all chasing after the top 5, 10% of guys on dating apps. And we also see this even in real life, absent the dating apps. If you put on a speed dating event, by the way, this is why men don't go to these like lame speed dating events, because it's a massive humiliation ritual for 90% of the men. You go to these speed dating events, like the women will be eyeballing, let's say there's 100 men, 100 women. They're going to be hyper-focused, the women, on like 4, 5, 6 guys there, whereas like say there's an equal distribution of the men's assessment of the women's attractiveness, the guys will be like, oh yeah, 50, 60 of the women were attractive, I would date her, whereas women are way harsher when it comes to their assessments of men. They'll be like, there were like 2 or 3 guys I liked. And so you see this playing out in the real world too. Basically women find like the vast majority, I guess I'd put it like this. Most men find most women attractive. Most women definitely don't find most men attractive. Would you agree with that?
No,
At least,
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
It's on your standards. It's how you have your standards.
sure, but in this case, I think that while you do have like a small percentage of men who are hypersexual, who are engaging in hookup culture, you basically have groups of men who maybe occasionally they might get something, but for the most part, most men, they can't really have access to the hookup culture. Whereas I'd paint it like percentages. I think, here, I'll just be a bit conservative. I think it's 100%. Let's just say 90% of women have access to hookup culture. So understand, just to be clear, when I say access, I'm not saying that 90% of women want hookup culture or want to just have casual hookups or fuck whenever they want. But they all have the ability to do it if they wanted to.
No, yeah.
Like, I'm sure you guys are
Yeah.
friends, you guys go to college, you're both attractive. I don't know if like younger guys, if they're approaching women as frequently as they used to years past because of social media, dating apps, social dating landscape, kind of sketchy a little bit, but I'm sure you guys have a lot of options, I would assume. So I think 90% of women, you know, what's that?
Glazing.
Huh? Okay. I think you basically would have just an abundance of options, but I'm sure you're rejecting probably a lot of guys, I'm assuming.
Oh, is that a question?
Yeah, sure, why not?
I mean, I haven't really been here for that long. I haven't really gone to that many parties, but I would say, I think there's. I mean, I wouldn't say I would reject that. Like,
I'll
there's been
say
one.
that like guys aren't going up to
Yeah.
us and being like, hey, like let's hang out, or like can I have your number? It's more so
Yeah.
like
They start like,
just slowly
yeah,
lingering.
they're like, ooh.
And
Because you're
then
younger, I
rejecting them is just
Yeah.
like kind of lingering the other way.
I feel like it used to be like way more prominent of like guys going up to girls and like
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
very blunt, but they realize that probably does not work. So you gotta find other ways.
Well, I think there's a component of men don't have to approach in person now because of social media and because of dating apps. They have a different avenue. Like being rejected on a dating app is pretty much a nothing. Maybe for some guys it stings a little bit, but it's so far separated that it's like whatever. Whereas most men are very uncomfortable with the idea of approaching a woman in person and being rejected in person. And also the stakes are way higher. Now it's just like, okay, she's gonna make some TikTok. Oh my God, this creepy guy fucking approached me at Trader Joe's. And like the stakes are higher now. The social stakes are quite high. So
Yeah,
yeah.
true.
But in any case, I have to disagree though that there are men who do engage in casual sex or who have access to hookup culture. But really, I think you have maybe 5-10% of men who can do the hookup culture stuff. The rest get nothing or they get relationships. And then 90% of women, if they wanted to, could be sluts.
Yeah.
If they wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah.
No?
Agree.
No.
Like,
Yep.
yeah.
I mean, look, you can do the experiment. There's a whole bunch of ways you can do the experiment. You could wear a sign that says DTF. You send a girl out, you send a guy out. And they could be equivalent in terms of their looks. And the girl, let's say you send out 2 average looking people. The girl's going to be bombarded. She'll probably get dozens of propositions in a day if she's out there for a couple hours. The guy's going to stand there looking like a complete fucking idiot. Also, I understand that like guys don't approach as much as they used to in years past, but I would say that if you go to a party or a bar or a club, as a guy, no girl's coming up to you. Like if you're at the club or bar, just, you know, not being a weirdo, but just hanging out, no girl's going to be like, oh, hey, girls don't really shoot their shot like that. Again, I understand sometimes they
Sad.
do. But
Sad? You said? Why?
If you find a cute guy, shoot your shot, girl.
You should.
We should
have you ever shot your shot?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah?
I feel
confident with
like he has
All
to
right,
like you more.
what's your line? What's your go-to?
Oh, you just gotta like roll with
I have a good one.
Girl, this is well, really quick before I have you do it. This is how girls shoot their shot. All right, you ready?
Let's hear it.
I just did it.
True.
They just like glance at you like for 1 second, and
Trying to
then
meet the right
that's
girl.
that's shooting their shot.
Let me
Go
give
ahead.
you guys a great way to approach someone. Okay, you go up to them and you go, "Oh my gosh, I think I've seen you before. Like, how do I know you?" And then it starts flowing, and that just works.
You just gotta dip your toe in the water, see how it's flowing.
Yeah.
Brian writing it down.
Taking notes